Hi and welcome to the latest vlog in support of the hardware asset management process kit published by ITAM Intelligence SAM Charter. I'd like to introduce you to Kylie Fowler if you haven't seen her before. Hello Kylie. I'm Rory Canavan and we're here today to talk about the stock management process. Is that correct?
That is right.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say over to you like I normally have for the last two. So yeah, Kylie, over to you.
So the stock management process is basically a cupboard.
Okay, is this going to take 5 minutes then, is it?
There's probably a bit more to it.
A bit more than... Okay, yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's usually a cupboard, really.
Right.
And you take machines out of the cupboard and you build them and chuck them on people's desks, and then you take them off people's desks when you've finished with them and put them back in the cupboard.
Sounds easy. It sounds MCP like. Are we?
An MCP in stock management.
Yeah.
So the big challenge, as always,
Yes.
is making sure that when you take that asset off somebody's desk
Mm-hmm.
and put it back in the stock cupboard, that you know that it's been taken off a desk and put in the stock cupboard. Because if you rely on your discovery tool,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to know that it's not been on the network for 30
Eons.
days exactly,
Yes.
until you run your next what's on the network report. And that's not particularly helpful, because if you operate a stock management process, you also need to make sure you've got enough stock in place,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to run out of stock. So what you really need to do with this process is probably once a week get the engineers or the people who own the stock to do a quick stock take and just tell you what's in stock, and then you match that up against your asset register.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing best practice hardware asset management, but again, you know what? Don't bother if it doesn't work for you. Seriously.
Yeah.
And just once a week do a quick stock take so that you know what's in place, and then from there you can then go out and buy more stock if you need it,
Okay.
or not buy more stock if you've had a load of stuff back.
If you've got too much, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Question.
Hmm.
What about the software on the stock?
Well, that's a really good point. So best practice, if you're bringing a piece of equipment back and putting in a stock cupboard, would be to wipe it or rebuild it.
Right.
So a lot of older on-prem software
Mm-hmm.
is per device software. So
Yes.
the fact that it's sitting in a stock cupboard and you still have the intention of deploying it at some point, as opposed to decommissioning it, ready for disposal, you still need to license that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have no hesitation in arguing that if something has been set aside because it's been decommissioned, that you exclude that from your per device licensing.
Mm-hmm.
In an audit, your vendor will probably argue back. But the stuff in the stock cupboard, you do need to include that in an audit.
Yes.
So wipe it or rebuild it so it's just got the standard software on it. But equally, that's a good practice from information security, because of course if you get equipment back, it's going to have data on the hard drive as well.
Mm-hmm.
And does the person who that piece of equipment's being redeployed to need to see that data?
Yeah.
No. And you know what, even though you put in a new profile and they can't see it, it's still there, so it's still vulnerable.
Yeah.
So if you wipe it, you solve all of those problems.
Oh, there's been too many horror stories in the past, haven't there, of banks and financial institutions who not just sent out networking equipment but PCs and laptops, etc., and they've had, shall we say, personal and relevant data on there. So yeah, it makes sense to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's good to do that stock take once a week. Make sure you've got the right stock. It's
Mm-hmm.
very good to wipe and rebuild
Yes.
when stuff arrives back in stock,
Yeah.
rather than when you're about to deploy it.
Yeah.
And I think you'll have a pretty streamlined process there.
Yeah. And don't forget to dust the cupboard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point.
Dust the cupboard.
We don't want our assets dusty, do we?
Yeah.
Might make you sneeze.